So the president fought back hard, as you saw in that press conference yesterday, something Steve Bannon reportedly supported wholeheartedly. And now in a brand new interview, the president's chief strategist letting loose on critics as well, who say he is one of the reasons that racial tensions are so high in this country. A new piece from the American Prospect tonight reads in part, he dismissed the far right as irrelevant, Bannon did, and sidestepped his role in cultivating it. Ethno-nationalism it's losers. It's a fringe element, says Bannon. I think the media plays it up too much, and we got to help crush it. You know, help crush it more, he says. These guys are a collection of clowns, Bannon calls them. Here to analyze, host of Media News, host of Fox News and Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz. Howie, good to see you tonight. The media developments on this story are so fast that we are, just sort of jumping to keep up with them. And we wanted to talk to you initially about how much time was spent on this news conference last night, and we spent a fair amount of time here as well. But Bannon has been under fire, and he's clearly using his media strategically tonight to speak out.
What most people don't understand about Steve Bannon, Martha, is that he views himself as an economic nationalist, not a white nationalist, despite the media's effort to tar him with every inflammatory thing that's ever been written in his former website, Breitbart. And so part of this interview talks about his battles against Gary Cohn, the economic advisor, and what he views as sort of the globalists and his pursuit of an aggressive trade policy, which, by the way, Donald Trump's been talking about for about 30 years. Now, in this interview, he did seem to sidestep whether the president made things worse with his remarks about the neo-Nazis and how it wasn't only their fault. They weren't the only ones engaged in violence. But I'm not surprised to see him take this stance.
Let's put up another that came out earlier today. This was reported on Axios, saying that Bannon called yesterday's freewheeling news conference at Trump Tower a defining moment. Trump decided to fully abandon the, quote, globalists and side with, quote, his people. Thoughts on that, Howie?
Well, I don't know if Bannon actually said those things. He's attributed to friends and associates. But Steve Bannon has made no secret of the fact that he bears great hostility toward the media, which he calls the opposition party. So he would love the fact that Donald Trump was, in his view, sticking it to the press with the presser yesterday, even though a lot of other people thought the president did himself some damage. And at the same time, Martha, he is, standing up for the notion that that Trump has to fight and has to, define himself, and so that doesn't surprise me either.
In terms of the media attention to all of this, the White House, obviously wants the agenda to be front and center, but the president hasn't really helped that goal too much in the past couple of days, and before that as well.
Well, he wasn't supposed to take questions at this event that was about infrastructure, but by the way, whether he's surrounded by Steve Bannon or Reince Priebus or General John Kelly, Donald Trump says what he wants and does what he wants. His advisors were stunned by this yesterday, so to hang it all on Bannon, I think, is an oversimplification by the press.
Howie, thank you so much. Good to see you
Good
tonight.
To see you.